Shalom Israel. Worldwide, 12 tribes. Don't ever forget that. It's not one tribe, it's 12 tribes of Israel. And scattered, not lost, scattered, and waking up every day to who they are and their purpose on this planet. And it's a beautiful thing. And not only are the Hebrew Israelites waking up worldwide, but their companions, the biblical companions of Israel, the ones that the Most High is waking up in order to help us establish the kingdom and to spread the gospel, the true gospel of the scripture, not this fake thing that is preached through Christian sanity, but the true gospel. Ain't nobody getting no wings and flying away. You ain't gonna get wings. That's that fairy tale stuff that you find in Christianity. But the king is going to establish, according to the manuscript, he's going to establish his kingdom here. Zion, listen. And all the companions, listen. Do not fall for this Black History Month bull. This Black History Month rhetoric and mind control. It's another well thought out tactic by the powers that be. The European think tanks, in order to perpetuate the slave mentality into the people. That's what it is. There's no such thing as a Black History Month. The word is crazy. The phrase is crazy. Black. What's black? When you look at my skin, I'm brown. I live in the country, and sometimes people don't know me. They don't know what to say. They don't know if they should speak Spanish or Punjabi or African, depending on what hat I'm wearing sometimes. Oh my goodness. Y'all believe me? This is my work hat. When I put this hat on, when I'm working, I say, buenos dias. Buenos dias, señorita, señor. Sí. They don't know what I am. They don't know where I come from. So I'm just making a point, is that this idea of black and then American, Black American. It's a color. It's not a people. It's not a history. It's not a time. It's a game, and let's not fall into the trap mentally to where you waiting for the Gregorian month of February so that you can feel free to talk about your history and your people. But then after that, you kind of feel like, I want to say something, but it's not Black History Month, so I better not say it. You see what I'm saying? It's so crazy that, but most of us fall for it. It's a trick. If you're in education and you waited until February to talk about the struggles of the Hebrew Israelite here in American soil in captivity in what's called Egypt again. That's the name of this country. It's called Egypt again. And you shall be taken back to Egypt again. You're going into Egypt. This is Egypt. When we came here again, we've been enslaved here, of course. But one of the things that they will not allow you to do, I don't even care if it is Black history, they're not going to allow you to teach people that you're the Hebrew Israelites. So what's the point of this month in the first place if you are not going to be able to talk to the people about our our existence pre-slavery. And what it does is it just reinforces that you are a slave. I tell people all the time, you're not a slave, you're a person. They didn't go pick up slaves from Africa. They went and picked up people from Africa and made them into slaves. And the people that they picked up from Africa were those who migrated to West Africa from East Africa, running from persecution. The Hebrew Israelite people, the people of that holy Bible. So how are you going to teach our history in school if they told you can't teach the Bible? The Bible is our history, and it's not something that we wait once a year for 30 days to try to teach people. If you are in education, I want you to really hear me good. And you're a Hebrew Israelite and you are conscious, and even if you're unconscious and you're becoming conscious, I already know you want to tell the story, but you're like, well, I don't want to lose my job though. I don't want to lose my job. So what you're going to have to do is you got to become creative, because we're under the mandate of the Most High. We're not just under the mandate of this, we're not just under this earthly government. We got a higher government. We have a king who is alive, and he's watching everything we do. There's ways to do it. When you talk about world history, we want to talk about, what they think is our Hebrew Israelite history, gonna call us African American. All you gotta do is take the Bible. But you can print out pages now. You can drop in things like and not just 1 month. You can do it forever. Whenever you're talking about anything, you can always go to the manuscript. If you are in mathematics, say for instance you teach math, you can use the Bible and the principles in the Bible that deal with math. Just pull them out and say, man, they were doing this kind of mathematics way back here in the biblical days. Then you can tell them, your people were brilliant when it came to math. You ought to read how they built the ark. You ought to read how they built the tabernacle. You ought to read how Solomon built the temple and the type of math they had to use in order for it to be great as it was. You're dealing with all kinds of stuff. When you talk about science, the scientific observation of things, you can once again go to the wisdom of Solomon, listen to his teachings and his observations, and show that here was a black man, quote unquote, a Hebrew Israelite, who was one of the wisest men in the world. When you talk about our history, you got to bring in Samson, the strongest man. You can just do that and say, well, when you talk about fighting, that's what they do. They want to go back and they'll pull up, this guy was the first boxer and all that. You tell your class, and no. Your first, one of the greatest fighters we ever had in our history, his name was Samson. And his record and his story is right here. See, that's how you do it. And you can show them. If you're in education, that's what you do. I think I'm giving you enough points. If you want to talk about, okay, well, how about a captain of a ship? Because most people, when they do that, you can talk about Noah. You know what I'm saying? We had a person who had developed, who built a major cruise liner before there was even any rain. We had a brother building a cruise liner. See how that works? And then you can teach the generation of who they are, and you can do it all the time in any subject, in philosophy, in language, in art. It's unlimited. But don't fall for that whole black Americans get 1 month to talk about their history. history as though it is separated from all the rest of the world history. And then don't fall for the okie doke of when the month is over, now I can't say nothing else. No, you say something all year. You find a way to work, watch this, world history into everything you've done, everything you do. You can show them that everything that's important on this planet came from the mind of a black man, a Hebrew Israelite most of the time, but sometimes there were others that were not. And you don't have to be ashamed of that. You know, right now I'm at a stoplight, man. A brother made a stoplight. You know what I'm saying? The cotton gin, tell him the clothes you got on. It was not Eli Whitney, that was a slave, came up with that, cotton gin. Well, every time you go to a refrigerator, man, refrigeration, that was a brother. Talking about being able to transport stuff, that was a brother. Keeping it cool and fresh, that came out of the mind of a brother. Sewing machine, ironing board, man, it goes on and on. But don't just do it on 1 month a year. That's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And also you can say now where we are is at a point where, based on this culture, the culture of the Hebrew Israelites that are here in this nation, they believe that eventually they're going to be returned to their land, and that they will be under their promised king, their Hamashiach Yahushua. It's part of their culture. It's ingrained in the culture of the Hebrew Israelite, and therefore they anxiously await the return of their king. And that can also be a part of your quote-unquote black history lesson. Once again, don't have to just be taught once a year. You know, it can be taught all year. So if you're in education, you got to find ways to tell the truth about who we are. And you got to be able to not only find ways to do it, but then do it. Then do it. One of the ways also you can start, there's just some tips, because I don't like this whole idea that you can't, this is Black History Month, and then you're African American, and all they do is show you slaves. Is Israel a slave? Is Israel a homeborn slave? Really? Jeremiah asked that. Or all we are slaves or ex-slaves? Because really the way people view us now is that we are simply slaves that have been set free. So we're like slaves that are not in the cage, or slaves that are not in the plantation. So the way the majority of the people still think about, quote unquote, the African American, he's just a descendant of slaves. So he's still a slave, he's just a freed slave. See, it's a weird mind, and that's not the kind of mentality we want to put into our people. No, you're not a slave. You went through slavery, but you are not a slave. You are a Hebrew Israelite. Matter of fact, you are what all humanity come from. Because I'm going to give you this. The word Adam has in it a root in Hebrew. And everybody who knows Hebrew knows that I'm telling the truth. If you don't know Hebrew, then you might not understand this. But everybody knows that Adam has several things in it. One, we know it has to do with the earth. With the earth, right? It has something to do with the soil. We also know it has something to do with the color, what they call red. And then, of course, and then it has to do with Adam, the person. And so, when you look at the word Adam, you see that there's a mem, Adam, the sound. And that gives you the picture of motion or fluid. And in this case, it's blood. So Adam is the color. He's made from the earth, so he's the color of earth mixed with blood. Okay? So you want to do our real history, you have to go to the original source, and that's the first man. Our history is we're the first man made on planet Earth. Starts there, not in slavery, in Eden. Shalom.